hear me. Okay, that's good. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's a little break. Thank you for letting me know and looking out. That's the worst when you like film a live stream and then it doesn't go through or it doesn't save or you're muted the whole time. So I really appreciate you letting me know. And I'm glad you can hear me. Okay, so backtracking, we're going to go posture. First thing is posture, literally how you're holding yourself. And if you think of, gravity's always having an influence on the body. It's always working through the body, with the body, impacting how we stand in relationship to the ground. And how we do that over time has a lot to do with how we hold ourselves. So if we're always in this forward head tilt, looking down at our phones, looking down at the computer, looking down at books, I have a baby, looking down at baby, then gravity is going to be moving through the body and start to cause the head to tilt forward. And then we start to have this like slouched back. That's just how that feels straight to us, because is anyone else with me on this? Like, do you feel like you're constantly hunched forward? Well, what that does, and you walk into a room and the way your body's formed is you're slouching. And how do you feel as you're looking at me and I'm like this? It doesn't feel like poised. It's not upright. There's a curling in and a lack of confidence almost. So I'm a structural integration practitioner. I went to school at the Dr. Ida Rolf Institute, and I do hands-on work with fascia. So this is kind of one of my areas of expertise, of working with posture, working with fascia, working how we hold ourselves in relationship with gravity. And our fascia is this beautiful substance in the body that connects bones to muscles, muscles to muscles, all the organs. It's the structure that holds our form in the body. It's so beautiful. Look it up. Fascia connective tissue. You spell it Fascia. It's like this like wetsuit in the body. It connects everything and it holds our posture. So when thinking of how you hold yourself, are you shoulders forward or shoulders back? A lot of times we get stuck in, shoulders too far back, and this isn't really a space of ease. Is there a middle ground? Are the hips tilted back so you have a sway back, or are they tucked forward so your tailbone is tucked under? Or is there somewhere in between? And what sort of emotions do these postures, these are two very small examples, do these different variations in posture evoke in you and when you see them in someone else? And what feels like it has most poise, most composure? So this ease in how we are standing in relationship to gravity can be really, really important when being someone who holds poise in their bodies. Over time, our structure can hold emotional and postural patterns. So I gave the example of the behavior of always looking down on our phones, because I think most of us can resonate with that. Our head is really heavy, so gravity is going to flow on the head, and then the fascia is going to start to grab in the neck, in the shoulders, and over time we get stuck there. Also, in relationship with emotions, our emotions can get stored in the fascia. So we start to wind up around different experiences we haven't processed in our body that our consciousness is protecting us from. So the fascia becomes rigid over time, and we are stuck in movements, we are stuck in postural patterns, and we are stuck in an identity of sorts. We almost become frozen. And that happens over time as we age. And if we don't work with the fascia in various ways, and I'll talk about that in a second, then we get stuck in certain ways of being. Rigidity is not feminine. Feminine is fluidity. Feminine is motion. Feminine is having grace. So what to do with this? Work with your fascia, work with your connective tissue, work with a Rolfer, ROLFER, or a structural integration practitioner who specializes in how to hold the body, and start working with your patterns. Get to know your body. The whole premise of both of these modalities is to access a midline and then stack the different segments of the body so that they're gathered around the midline. And it can be really helpful to have a healing practitioner to work with your fascia to help you find more length in the body. So you're both grounded and rooted through the feet and lifted up from the top of the head, gathered around your midline, and you stand taller, but it's not a forced height. It's not where you're like, oh, I'm pressing my shoulders back and I'm having to hold on to my core and really think about my head on top of my shoulders. No, there's more ease. And that ease, when you feel that ease in your body, it's like, people around you feel more relaxed because you are more relaxed in your body. It's easier to stand. It's easier to sit. You feel more you. Also, one thing you can do is get into yin yoga. Yin yoga works with the fascia of the body, but it's more about finding spaces to release and working with the joints in releasing the fascia, and less about having some sort of technique around how you're standing, some sort of input, some sort of guidance around how to stand once that release happens. But I love yin yoga for the ability to soften the nervous system and to soften the connective tissue in the body and practice that state of yielding. So both of these things can be really helpful for evoking more fluidity in your posture. And then once your fascia can start to release and your muscles can yield, you can start to stand with more grace, move with more grace, and be perceived as someone who has more poise, grace, and power. The second element of this is nervous system. So the definition of poise, like I said, is confident composure. This means that feminine poise does not get rattled or worked up when stressed out. There's a certain level of nervous system tone. When someone says something triggering, she doesn't snap back out of reactivity. Instead, she pauses, takes a beat, she breathes, and she addresses the situation from her deep center with a lot of agency in her body and who she is. Yes, she stands up for herself, but it's from a place of center and from depth. It's like from a deep ocean. It's having done enough inner work and developed enough consciousness to know that most of the time, people's actions come from their own stuff, their own trauma, and they most likely has nothing to do with us. So having that poise and acknowledging that, it takes a lot of conscious awareness, and it means that the nervous system doesn't feel like it's in a state of fight or flight. Yes, it's triggered, but you have the conscious awareness to know that there's no threat around. And this, again, it takes tone. It's also being able to hold a state of unconditional love. In congruence with boundaries, of course, despite being wronged. So when you feel offended or triggered or like you're being wronged, you can hold a boundary and you can decide what you let in and what you don't, but you also have this tone in your body that you can hold this unconditional love in your heart. You are a state of love, and yet you set boundaries. That's poise. Having a poised nervous system also means being able to handle a full schedule or the high demands of work with grace and softness without rushing. You don't get overwhelmed easily. You're not phased easily. You wake up, you look at your schedule, you say, wow, it's packed, it's booked. And you breathe, you stay in your center, and you move through your day. You know that each moment, all we have is each moment. And if you're fully present in each moment, how could you be overwhelmed? Because we have this moment and then this moment and then this moment. And a poised, feminine person knows this and still floats throughout their day. How I work with this with clients, and again, I'm going to give a little plug for my course coming up, Nervous System of a Goddess, because we're going to work with this. We're going to understand the nervous system, the different signals of the nervous system, how to evoke more poise and composure in life, despite high demands of schedule, despite work deadlines, despite family life, despite an irritating coworker, a run-in with a client that triggers you, all of that, we'll talk about how to create more composure. And this course, you get live calls with me weekly. Starts in August 2023, live calls with me weekly, group calls, and then access to a course dashboard with meditations, with practices to help to develop more composure. We're going to talk about the nervous system, yes. We'll also talk about how to evoke more just feminine essence, feminine energy, feminine embodiment. I really wanted to create something that was based from the body up, rather than just information in the mind. So there will be opportunities to take what we talk about and infuse it into life and have accountability in how to do that. And you will become someone different. You will become more in alignment with feminine essence if you sign up for this course. If you're listening to this after August 2023, I'm going to evergreen the course and you can still purchase it. There won't be live calls, but all of the content will be recorded. And anyone who signs up will get lifetime access to the course dashboard. So if you want to have a poised nervous system, that is where to go. That is just going to be such a joy for me to hold that container. So when thinking of this, we want to just two ways. One is what I call an SOS plan, like, oh my God, I'm triggered. What do I do? And there's various things that you can do in those moments. You can take a deep breath. So place your hand on your belly, breathe. If you have the time, you can excuse yourself, go to the bathroom and do a forward fold. Just doing a stretch forward. It rushes the blood to the head, elongates the spine. You take 3 deep breaths in a forward fold and you roll the body up. If you have a private place, you can shake. So you can shake, 1 limb at a time. This discharges excess energy. It takes 2 minutes tops. So you just go into, again, it could be a bathroom stall, it could be a private place, and you shake, discharge energy. I call this the SOS plan, what to do when you're triggered in the moment, in the heat of the moment. The other thing would be creating a baseline. So having a practice that you bring the nervous system back to a baseline where you're not tipped over the edge so often. So this could be a daily meditation practice. It could be yoga. It could be running, something to move you out of a state of chronic fight or flight. And then you can also work on being stressed. So I love to go into a cold plunge, into an ice bath, and test my nervous system. Can I breathe deeply when I'm sitting in a tub of ice? And how long can I do that for? Or I also love going to really hot yoga in a very hot room. And can I hold this posture when I'm feeling super flushed, when my heart rate is elevated, when my body's stressed? Can I stay calm in my mind? So you practice being stressed so that when you're in that moment, you have more tone. The third aspect of feminine poise is wardrobe and dress. And I actually did a poll on my community board, and I asked, what aspect are you most interested in developing? Most of you said 48% said nervous system, existing in calm composure, even when triggered. And I think this is because a lot of my demographic, the demographic who follows me, are those high achievers, and life's stressful. I mean, you're probably balancing a lot. And so to be able to hold tone when you're stressed, it's a life's treat. And then 10% of you said wardrobe and style, dressing my body like an exquisite art piece. So we're going to touch on this. And if you want to vote after this video, definitely head to my community board and go ahead and put your vote in. But I like to think of clothing and jewelry and accessories as the adornment of our already, calm, already composed structures, already soft structures, already feminine centers. It definitely comes second to developing poise in the physical body, nervous system, and energy, but it's very important. And in some cases, you can actually work backwards. So if you're feeling really frumpy in your energy, it can do wonders to put on a new dress and heels and walk around. So you can influence your energy by dressing in a different way. Different colors can elicit different states of being. And if you're someone who has a hard time, so if you're one of these 10% who have a hard time in, dressing your body in wardrobe and style, I totally hear you. And if you look through my videos, you'll see that I've really developed my style, my way of dressing, my way of presenting myself. My early videos were a lot different. It was only 2 years ago than I am now. And I put a lot of work into this and intention, and I love it. Part of why it was hard for me in the beginning was because I got choice fatigue when I went shopping. Like there's so many choices. And I just was like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to stick with my normal routine, my normal clothing that I've had for X amount of years, and just keep it simple. But I knew when I went through my transformations and I went through 2 really big quantum leaps in the past 2 years that this version of myself dressed differently. I just knew it. So I want to give some techniques if, some ideas if you're someone who struggles with dressing yourself in a way that resonates and you feel there's a mismatch between your energy and how you present yourself. Spend some time considering your own style. So I started at Pinterest. I had a hard time putting together outfits, and I let Pinterest really inspire me. And I would start to save different boards from different outfits that I was like, oh my gosh, if I could just beam this Pinterest board into my closet, I would be happy. But what I did is instead of scrolling on Instagram, I would pull up my Pinterest board or Pinterest and scroll. And sooner or later, those outfits would get infused into my subconscious so that when I go out shopping, I just kind of pick the shirts or the skirts or the dresses that have already been selected on my Pinterest, but it's not a conscious recognition. It's that I've looked at it enough times to know that that's my style, if that makes sense. Also, Kibbe is a really cool way to approach the body for dressing to your body type, KIBBE. So if you look up Kibbe quiz for your body type, you can figure out how to dress according to your structure and the energy that flows through your structure. So I did that and I really enjoyed that. And then you can kind of look up, different celebrities with your body type and how they dress for ideas. But yeah, it's totally overwhelming at first. But once you get the feel for your style, it can start to be really fun, especially when you start getting new clothes and then you put those clothes on and you get that reward. And if you're someone who doesn't like shopping, I would say make the time for it. Just make the time for it. Schedule an hour a week and go to a store and sift through that store, or maybe like 3 hours, go to the mall. That might sound heavy. I know. An hour, 3 hours, whatever. I like to go shopping in person because I'm a big on fabric. So I like to feel the fabric. And if it feels good on my skin, then I'll usually get it. Also fit for me, if I just shop online, it can get annoying to get the thing shipped, try it on. It doesn't work. You got to ship it back. I just like to go shopping, pick the things, go to the dressing room, try them on, take what works, leave what doesn't. To me, that's easier. But the point is make time for it, schedule it in, and you can also make it delicious to go shopping. So make it a thing. Go get your favorite coffee drink, go get a smoothie, put on some music in your earbuds and just sift, make it your you time and just do it. Just do it. I had to. And I'm so glad that I did. And I'm so glad that I do because I feel so much better having a wardrobe where I feel like more poised. Like I feel more composed, more put together because I spend the time to dress myself accordingly. You might also find a few stores or brands that you like and just monitor those, look at those. You could even have, if you know that you have a brand and you get to know your size, then you can start ordering online and make it easy, make it simple. But you do have to put this upfront investment into understanding your style, knowing what sorts of clothes look good on you, what sort of accessories you like. And I think starting with Pinterest is a really good place to do that because let's be honest, how much time do you spend on Instagram? Mine as well. I mean, maybe not all of you, but a lot of you probably spend a lot of time on Instagram, maybe Facebook. I don't know. You can switch out that time with creating a vision board on Pinterest and then infusing that vision board into your subconscious and thus not being so overwhelmed by choices. Like literally when I go shopping now, I'm like, That's my style. That's my style. I like this. This is going to fit me well. This isn't. And it's way easier to just go and not be overwhelmed. So wardrobe and dress, number 3. Number 4, energy and aura. How many of you responded to this one? Let's see. 29%. So this one came in second. I said, evoking a queen-like presence in my auric field. I like to think of energy as the movement that streams through the physical body. The movement that streams through the physical body. So we are earth, we are physical, we are density, we are matter. We're also spirit. And that spirit, that energy animates the body. That's what gives us life. It's life force. It's prana. The nervous system itself is literally energetic. So there's an immense amount of energy that flows through the nervous system. That's what it is. And it creates a magnetic field around the body. This electricity that flows through the body creates a magnetic field around the body. So a lot of the aura and the energy about you will be directly influenced by the nervous system. By that, do I feel like I'm in a state of fight or flight, or do I feel like I'm relaxed and composed? And that will create some sort of attractor field around the body that will be felt by other nervous systems around you that will influence if you feel like you're someone who's poised or not. And same thing with how are you holding yourself in a relationship with gravity? Like, are you someone who's tense and pulled up and in? Are you someone who's biting down on the jaw? Are you someone who kind of moves in this like super rigidity motion, these super rigid motions? Or are you someone who's more relaxed down towards the earth and moves with more fluidity? Again, this is going to influence your aura, how others perceive you, your energy. Despite these two things, I think a big part of having an energy of poise, a queen-like energy, is what sorts of thoughts are you holding in your consciousness? So what do you believe about yourself, about your personality? Do you identify as someone who's a hothead? Do you say, I'm a hothead, I have no patience? Do you say, I'm so clumsy? Or do you say, I'm very closed off? So we are not fixed personalities. We are truly fluid in spirit. And so we can decide our personality. Our personality is something that's wired into our brains, and our brains can be rewired. We can identify as someone who's different, a different personality. And so if you connect more with your spirit and resonate more with your spirit, with potential, and start to believe and identify as someone with grace and poise, if you identify as having queen-like energy, then you'll start to emit that energy. So catch yourself when you're saying otherwise, when you're saying like, oh, I'm just not graceful. I'm so klutzy. I'm a hothead. I don't have any, I have zero tolerance, zero patience. Notice that. Reroute. Actually, I'm someone who has incredible composure. And see yourself as like a queen sitting on a throne with a crown. See it, feel it. This will come off in your energy. So you can even just like write down your beliefs about yourself and change them and notice when you're identifying with them and shift. I also think it can be really helpful when considering energy to find archetypes that resonate with you and infuse them into your consciousness. So find feminine energy beings who hold themselves with a degree of composure and watch them. Notice them, celebrities or women in power. You can also look up goddesses, like goddess archetypes and deities, and study them and learn about them. I have little like goddess cards that I like to pull from time to time, and I love learning about different feminine archetypes of ways feminine energy is expressed. But notice when there's an energy of feminine poise and study how this person's holding themselves, how they're talking, if there's artwork, feminine artwork of feminine poise, and just infuse your subconscious with this. As you infuse your subconscious, you'll start to move about the world in that way. Because what we put into our subconscious is how we operate, believe it or not. So if you put that in your energy field, in your awareness, you'll start to be more queen-like. You could also like watch documentaries about queens or goddesses or these elevated female archetypes. You could read about them, you could put artwork up, but let it be around you. And then it'll start to be a part of your aura. So those were the 4. First one, posture, how you're holding yourself. Second, nervous system. Are you able to stay composed amidst stress? Third, wardrobe and dress. How are you adorning your already exquisite self, your already poised self? What are you wearing? How are you presenting to the world? And fourth is aura, an energy field. So what are your beliefs about yourself? How do you see yourself? And how does the world see you in response to that? And what are you infusing your subconscious with? I hope that you got something from this video. Let me know. Definitely give a like, leave a comment. Let me know what a takeaway was. You can ask questions. I adore hearing from you all. My channel has been growing, so welcome to all of you new subscribers. It's so exciting. I love showing up in this way. Remember, my course, Nervous System of a Goddess, is launching next month. Oh, I forgot. I've extended the early bird pricing to this coming Sunday, July 9th. I was running behind on coming and sharing content. So that's what life with a newborn is like. So I wanted to just extend that and come on and do this video and then maybe do one more this week and give you all time to sign up if you wanted to at the early bird pricing. I will link the course in the comments and in the description of this video. And I think that's it for now. I hope you're all having such a beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in live and for watching the replay. And I will talk to you all soon.